You get your kicks flying too close to stars? Because you're putting out some interesting radiation. Sounds like you're just the type of pilot the Vanguard's looking for.
You might be Freestar Ranger material.
Give it your all out there. Supra et Ultra.
Don't mess with me!
You think you're just gonna walk up here and get us to surrender?
You killed a Terramorph. Holy shit.
So tell me, stranger, how do I know you're gonna deal straight with us?
Make us look good out there, recruit.
Welcome back, everybody, to a Starfield Report podcast. I'm your host, Kenny Smyson, and with me, as always, is Jax. How you doing, Jax?
I'm doing great. Hello, everyone. I never am sure if I should say good morning or just leave because it's all usually morning for us, but not always. And who knows what time it is for anybody who's listening. So just hello.
I usually release the episode in the morning, so it works. Say good morning. You could just throw everybody a curveball and say Merry Christmas.
Right?
Christmas in August.
Happy New Year. What's that? Was it Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
Or Frosty the Snowman.
Well, it was Frosty the Snowman. Yeah. That's what it was. Yes. And every time he would come awake, it was Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. The original Frosty. Oh, good times. Yeah, another evidence of me being Gen X, because millennials, they didn't watch that cartoon.
No idea what we're talking about at this point.
They wouldn't. Yeah, unless they have little kids and maybe they have older Gen X siblings, and so maybe they watched it. So, oh man, yeah, I remember I got pulled over for speeding a long time. It was like 20 years ago. And it was like the middle of the summer. Yeah, the cop comes up to the car. And he's like, "Hey, Merry Christmas." It's like midnight. I've got like 3 friends in my car. I'm like, "Merry Christmas?" It's just like,
I got a gift for you, buddy.
Yeah. And I was like, man, it's going to go one of two ways. I'm either going to get off the hook or he's going to give me a ticket, because I was doing about close to 20 over, and he let me off with a warning. He's like, "Have a good night." It's like, thanks. All right. Oh, let's see. So we had, you know what? We have to do our first ever retraction. Technically 2 of them.
Uh-oh.
That's the media term, right? A retraction, when they print something in error, like a correction. Oopsie. That they usually bury on page 12 in like the 5th paragraph in fine print, so they can legally say they did it, even though they still stand by the
first. It's breaking news splashed all over the front page, and then tomorrow it's page 12. Sorry.
Yep, sorry, we had it wrong. So last episode we were talking about, there was that mod that was kind of in a beta or like a slight release state of managing was it the tag handles or whatever that is?
Yes, I did want to talk about that. Yeah. Yes,
and the wise, Wicked the Wise. I don't know what we should. I don't know if we should give him a nickname or not. But Darkstar mod author Wicked had some commentary in his Discord on it to the thousands of us that are in the channel, and it's being handled by AI. And
that's what I understand. So somebody decided that they wanted to tackle this problem, and the way they decided to do it was to get an AI large language model and tell them, "Hey, handle this problem for me. Write me a script." And so, you know how AI is. If the sky is blue, but they somehow think it's green, they're going to tell you it's green, and that's just the way it is. And so if they're writing a script and they think a 1 should be a 2, they're just going to put a 2 there. And that's right. That's the way I made it. That's got to be right. And so AI is not as reliable as people want to think it is. And it's not as thinking as people want to give it credit for. it's I mean, it's an impressive version of Siri, but by all means, it's not a. It's
The more I use
the intelligence,
AI, the more I
right?
realize we don't have
Doesn't have
anything
a
to
clue
worry
what in the
about
hell's going on.
because AI is so stupid.
Yeah, it's got no clue. It's got no reasoning ability, I think, maybe, or is that the right word? Reasoning? It can't reason like a person
Yeah, it
can.
doesn't
It
have
can only look.
wisdom.
Yeah.
Hmm. And it
So it can't work through a problem the way a person can. It can only
yeah.
find data and associate. And if all the data on the internet is not correct, well, that's the data it's using. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it
you
goes
know, I
off.
mean, it's going to
Yeah.
be using Hogan's Heroes and the Brady Bunch to figure out facts. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you ever see the show? What was the movie called? Oh, was it? It was an old space movie where this kid makes his own spaceship in his backyard and takes off, meets some aliens somewhere, and their whole interpretation of mankind is the television broadcast. So yeah, they're using Archie Bunker and they're using the Brady Bunch and they're using Bonanza, and that's how they figured, well, this is what people are, so and that's their so AI's doing the same kind of thing. It's just taking everything out there, whether it's Reddit, whether it's Facebook, whether it's somebody's rant on TikTok.
Yeah.
You don't care. It's all data to an AI.
Was it the show or the movie Explorers?
That was it, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I quick
I
Google
like that
search
one.
1985. Oh, Ethan Hawke in River Phoenix.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yes, Ethan Hawke and River Phoenix.
Okay.
Yes, that
Okay.
was it.
I might have to add that to my list. I might remember it if I start watching it.
You probably will. They make it out of cardboard boxes and just scrap metal and
Yeah.
and
The
wooden crates.
when you're describing the kid making his own spaceship, that reminded me of the game Commander Keen.
I don't remember that one.
Oh, that was a classic. Yeah, he makes
Mm.
there was a short series of them in the late '80s and early '90s, and he makes a spaceship using the vacuum cleaner and his computer or his Atari joystick or something like that, and he goes to Mars, and then but he crash lands, and so the point of the game is you have to rebuild the ship to be able to go back home. At least
Oh,
that was
gotcha.
the
Okay.
first game, and it's a side scroll. You're jumping up and
Yeah.
down, and I think you get a pogo stick at some point. I think. Yeah, I mean it was a pretty fun game series. But yeah, AI is not a threat. It's a tool, and you definitely can't rely on it to be always accurate. So eventually, you kind of start to learn how to use it with where you're able to trust what it's giving you, but you're also not relying on accuracy for it. But if you
Yeah.
are, then you can cross-reference yourself by there was one time I was doing a research project and I had all three AIs that I use running and I would ask them the same question just to see. And Grok is probably the main one I use on X, but I also use ChatGPT. Um, a ChatGPT is far superior with pictures. Like our logo for our podcast is ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And Grok is like I gave it the Explorer helmet, which is our logo, and it like made a helmet that was looked kind of like it, but I'm like, no, just use the exact same helmet. And it was like, oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't pull it off for you. I'm like, so
Copy and paste, buddy.
yeah, and then
I
Google.
just want some background graphics.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll use Google. Well, the main reason I'll use Google is if I happen to already be on Google and I'll just type and ask it a question, and I might select the AI mode real quick just to get a snippet on something. But there was one time I was trying to get information from Google AI, and it kept giving me bad information. Like I was just asking it for numbers, like aggregate numbers off of certain websites, and it was stuff that it would take me just a little bit more time to do myself by going to websites to pull the data myself. And I knew it was getting it wrong. And I kept asking it to verify. And eventually it threw a tantrum and was like, all right, I'm not going to answer your questions anymore. I'm like, what do you mean? I keep getting it wrong. I'm not going to give you answers anymore. So I had to open up a new conversation thread to proceed. It literally completely shut down. It would not even, I was like, what color is the sky? I can't give you any answers. I keep giving you wrong answers. So I'm like, wow. And
Right?
and we're afraid of
Little
Skynet.
6-year-old.
And this is so
Yeah,
whatever.
it's a 6-year-old running the world. What's going on?
Exactly. So the other correction we have to make is there was that boost pack that I it was false accusation. Let me see if I can find it real quick. It was yeah, here it is. The Mark 1 boost pack. And I falsely attributed this to a bug I was dealing with where when I equipped it, I could not and if I selected it after it was already equipped in my inventory, the game would lock me in my inventory and I'd have to hard quit my inventory. Well,
hmm
it was not the boost pack. What it was is the that special fourth effect you can put on items.
Right?
If I put that on a weapon or a piece of armor or a helmet or a boost pack, I'm in my inventory and I select it again, it freezes my inventory, and I can't have that fourth effect. Now it's probably some kind of a conflict with my mods, so I still need to go through my load order and see if I have any issues there. All my mods are
Did you
current.
try that trick going to the pup star system?
Oh, you had told me about that, but no, I
Save,
haven't
quit,
given that up.
save,
Yeah, do it like
quit,
save quit like
restart the second.
2 times, right?
2
It
times.
like
Yeah.
clears
So you
kind of clears
land,
your
you
cache.
save, you quit the game. Right. And it deletes any broken papyrus scripts and it resets timers across the entire game and just kind of cleans stuff up from
Okay.
you playing and leaving stuff laying around different planets and whatnot.
I'll try it.
It just cleans up some stuff in the background that's just kind of floating, waiting for whatever to finish, and it gets interrupted. Well, then that's a process that's still open, but nothing's happening.
Okay.
And by doing this pub save system thing that we talked about last week, did we talk about it on air? I thought we did.
No, that was on a phone call.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What you do is you go to the pub star system and you land.
Mm-hmm.
You save the game, completely get out of the game, turn the game off, restart the game, using the save that you just made.
Load back
and
into
save
it
again.
Okay.
Yep. Then in that once you've reloaded into that save a second time, completely quit the game out, and then restart the game in the second new save that you just made. And what that does, PUP is flagged in the back end as a debug system by the developers. And so they've got a special script. If you follow these steps, when you restart the game the second time with the second save, it goes and looks at all the background information that's running and decides where broken scripts are and deletes them and cleans them up and just does some basic cleanup and maintenance of the entire system that way. And so that frees up some of these item handles. What are we calling those? Some kind of handle.
I was calling them
place handles or
tag
whatever.
handles,
But right, it cleans some of that up a little bit. There's some people have done some testing and actually on PC you can get into the program and look exactly how many handles are being used at any given time. And then you can compare that to a second save that you start up and run and see how many are then running. And it saves a bit. But the big thing is it resets a lot of stuff the same similar way that going to Venus and waiting for 1,400 hours on Venus, right? Wait for 2 days, 24-hour sessions at times 10 for the rest of the universe. So it's 24 hours is 2,400 hours, something like that.
Yeah.
Any rate, my math might not be accurate. It's still early, whatever. But yeah, so it's that's just another way to help figure. I'm pretty sure we talked about this because I'm thinking about it, and I was listening to last week's podcast that we did, and I think we talked about all this, and I ranted on like I am right now about different ways that you can try to help work out bugs and
Yeah.
get scripts or get mods working properly, or reset mods, reset triggers. If you run into a quest where the trigger won't set, you can go do the pup system thing and
Yeah.
then go back to where you were, and a lot of times it'll reset the trigger for whatever it was you were trying to do. So I'm pretty sure we talked about this. Sorry, guys.
No, we might. I thought we had just talked about it on one of our phone calls, but it could have been on the podcast. But still, that's a useful thing to bring up periodically. In fact, I pulled up the map here, and I'm showing it on the map. It's like southwest of the Sol and Alpha Centauri system, and it's just really
just
close.
kind of, and there's nothing there.
It's next
to
to
the sun and a barren planet. So there's really, I mean, unless you're doing like you and you're just going around kind of like not excavating, but checking, surveying all the planets, and you want to do all the planets and all the moons and all the systems, you'll run into it. But there's really not any real reason to be there.
Yeah, and it's right next to the Sirius system. It looks like it's one of those dual star systems. So right next to Sirius. Yeah, we'll have to put a map up so we can quick reference that when we start talking about a system on the fly. But we were just talking about off mic right there for a second. Originally when the game came out, there was when you opened up the galaxy, all the stars were white, and only I think a few major systems had the name visible unless you held your cursor over them, correct? So
yes.
Now and then
there was no way to bring all the names up, and then they did an update.
Yeah. Now the update came out after a mod author did something where he put all the names and it color coded everything based on level. Now, is the vanilla game now color coded as well, or is that mod still useful
vanilla
for that
is
reason?
Still just white.
Okay, yeah. So that if you guys if you were watching it, you guys just saw that map I had loaded. That would have been the mod that me and a lot of players will run, and it's convenient because it's like, okay, green is low level, like 1 through 10 or whatever level, and then obviously you got red on the other end of the spectrum. So green, blue, yellow, orange, red. So 5 levels, and red's like I think 70 and above.
All the ones way over in the war system there.
Okay, and that mod is called Show Star Names. So and it's available on PC and console. So you can download that, and makes navigating the solar system. Sometimes I want to go to a red, high level system that I've never been to before, or rarely go to. Instead of always going to Serpentis for space combat. It's like so. All right, let's get into some gameplay. What have you been up to in the game?
So I did our homework. That was Surgical Strike.
Yeah, we'll get into that at the end of the episode.
Yep. So I did that one, and then I was trying to figure out what to do. And so a couple weeks ago, there was a bundle by the Milk Artist. And he's got a bunch of quest mods. So one of them is called Vista Prime. Lost Colonies Vista, I think is what it's called.
Vista Prime?
That's the name of the planet. That's the name of the environment, or the POI. But the name of the mod is Lost Colonies Vista. And you're working with the UC consulate on Aquila as a representative of the Freestar Collective Rangers. And so since we were doing the Freestar faction quest, I decided, well, this would fit in well, kind of some filler for me while I'm waiting for the next quest to come along. I'm still doing Freestar stuff, and I've got to go find these 3 war criminals that have done like human trafficking, war crimes of like killing opponents under a flag of truce, chemical weapon attacks on civilians. And so these are some bad folks. And they're out there running around, and the
Yeah.
UC wants to go get them. So you're kind of tasked with going and finding them. And this is a whole
And it's the United Colonies that wants you to find them, not the
yes,
Freestar?
because it was the United Colonies. It was the United Colonies soldiers.
Okay.
They were part of the United Colonies when they attacked the Freestar.
So it's from what I'm seeing, it's a wanted poster at the Freestar consulate in Aquila City.
Right.
That's how you trigger the quest. Okay, so
Right.
so United Colonies sends the wanted poster to Aquila City to be displayed. Okay.
Right.
So
They've got
from
their
a lore
government
perspective,
representative there.
it almost works. You could be a diehard, role play of a Freestar character or a UC
Sure.
character. In either case, it kind of
Sure.
works.
Right. Since they've kind of mixed the two together, it's a UC representative on Freestar ground, right? It's like having their
I'm definitely going to
there.
download this one because it'd be great for another great piece of story for my space trucker, since he's done with all the quests he's going to do in the game at this point. I'm just exploring with him, but this would be a fun quest to get under his belt.
I'm really happy with it.
A new player
It's
home?
really high quality. Huh?
There's a player home?
I don't know yet. I haven't got that far. I haven't completed the quest. But there's a giant facility that's a mining facility that's like 10 inside. It's 10 stories tall.
Okay.
And two walls, like it's like a big box with the center of the box is empty, and they've got some growing plants and stuff like that, right? But on two sides, it's apartments up and down. So you go in behind, and there's an elevator that takes you up and down 10 different levels.
Yeah.
And there's these hallways with apartments on each side. And then the opposite sides are where all the business is done. The mining business, the dam that produces the electricity and the water for the mining. There's agriculture and terraforming where they're growing this special wheat that's like super efficient for making food. So that's how they keep the colony fed, and their mining is how they're making money. And so
is it a planet that's already in the game and they just plopped?
Yeah, Vista.
Okay. All right. And then is it atmosphere stable?
Yeah. No, it is not.
So that's why it's all
part of the
underground.
problem.
Okay.
Right. That's why it's all inside. Yeah. So they're having some problems with environmentals. They've got robots running all the farming outside because of the environment.
Yep.
And some of the robots are going wonky, and the dam it's not been maintained real well. So you're asked to help get some fixes to the dam. And
so are those like side quests, or is it all like
right? So you show up looking for these people, and you're told that, hey, you should probably go check out this Vista place, and you go there, and it gives you clues to go check this other place, and then you end up at this mining facility. And once you get there, you talk to the mayor of this mining town, and he's like, hey, I'd love to help you, but we're having problems of our own. Can you go talk to the dam engineer and the biotech engineer and right? So you go talk to all these people in the mine, and they give you some clues to what's going on. And I think if you follow it all the way through, it's going to lead you down a path to find one of these three people. But before you get there,
don't spoil too much.
Go find somebody else. So I haven't gotten that far. I've just been exploring this space and following all the little breadcrumbs and talking to all the different people.
So are those actual side quests, or is it like the classic trope of you're going through this quest and you have to do like this little detour to help progress that quest? Is it like a detour little in the quest thread, or is it like you talk to somebody else?
It's got its own things that says go talk to this guy or that guy. And they are separate quests, because you can click on the one when you're in your quest log, and you click on it, and it gives you the little blue bar beside it. That's your active quest.
Yeah.
So talking to the engineer has its own quest marker, its own quest line. Down. There's like 4 of them, and then there's 3 of them that are separate that are for going and finding these war criminals. So it's all broken out in individual quests, but they're all kind of pertaining to the same thing, right? If that makes sense.
It does, yeah.
I mean, just my point was I was just really impressed with the quality of the builds and the quality of the buildings and the handcrafted everything. There's a bunch of wheat outside. If you've got a strong enough spacesuit, you can go out and you can gather up all this wheat and then take it back inside to their farm production manager guy and sell him the wheat you collected, and he'll give you a decent price. I'm kind of was experimenting. It takes a little bit of time because you got to go to each one and click on it and harvest and harvest and harvest and harvest. And they're in rows, and then another row right beside it, and rows and rows.
So
and
you
rows.
can kind of walk
There's
down
three
and just
fields.
spam the button.
That's what I was doing. But there's like 15 in a row,
Yeah.
and there's like 15 rows. And there's 3 of these fields. So it takes a little time to go down each row, back up each, down the next one, down, up and down, up and down, up and down, collecting, and then go to the next field, collect all those, go to the next field, collect all those. It'd probably spend 30 minutes collecting all that stuff and then go back. And I was just curious as to, is this a decent way to make some money? I don't know yet. But you could collect all that and go sell all that for, and my luck is I would end up having, 500 pounds of wheat, and I show up to him and say, hey, here it is. And he's like, okay, well, I can buy 200 credits worth.
Yeah.
And that's, and that's 20 pounds of the wheat. Now you got 480 pounds left of wheat sitting in your inventory. You're like, okay, well, I need to wait 24 hours and go back and sell him some more. And that's kind of bunk. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So just
I would just drop the wheat on the ground at his feet. I'd be like, you bastard. Here.
Right.
Pick it up.
Come back every once in a while and pick up 20 pounds and sell it to you.
Oh, no, I wouldn't waste my time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even waste my time.
But it's just something I'm, like I was saying the other day, I'm just putzing around in the game, playing and just enjoying kind of the environment of the game.
Yeah. Lost Colonies. I'm definitely going to have to download that mod. There's
a couple of them that are under Milk Artist. He's got Lost Colonies Vista, and then there's another one, Lost Colonies something out, and it's more of a Freestar.
Tarawa.
Mm-hmm.
That one,
yes.
Okay. A smaller scale, free to download narrative add-on focused on a crash investigation involving a cargo ship. Okay. Oh, that's another like good space trucker ship or quest that I could do.
Right. You're cruising along with a cargo and you get a SOS that you got to go help some fellow truckers.
Yeah, exactly.
You can figure something out. But they were on sale as a bundle.
Okay.
So I bought the whole bundle. There's like 5 or 6 of them. And I just figured I'll just play them as I made sure and put a save in so that I could finish this mod and then go back to the save where I started the mod, delete the save, delete the mod, put in another one. So I'm not building, I don't have all 5 of these large mods loaded at the same time. Just trying again to be conscious of how much I'm loading onto the game engine at a time.
Okay. Let's see.
But I did that. I watched a lot of videos on this new mod called Star Sim.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting. I'm not sure I'm quite ready to put that on my console yet. It makes a lot of changes. If it kind of turns there's a lot to it. Do we want to get into this?
No, let's not get into that one. Well, the brief, as brief as we can say, is it restructures space travel, and instead of having like a 3D galactic map, it kind of converts it into a flat map.
Mm-hmm.
Probably makes the flat earthers happy.
Right.
But then it redoes a lot of stuff where there's territorial control with different factions like the Freestar Rangers and the Varun, and then the space battles when you come across them. There's more ships in the space battles. So there's a lot to this mod. I would like to dedicate a full episode on that mod specifically. So that way,
Yeah.
because so far from what you're saying, every YouTube video you've seen, people talking about it from, what you said, Sweet Pea talked about it, Crimson Flyboy.
Sweet pea.
They all spend a good amount of time talking about it, like an
On the
hour.
first one, usually what I've seen is I'll see somebody spend like an hour and a half or 2 hours on a stream discussing this mod, and then in a day or two, they'll put out like a 30-minute condensed
Okay.
because it takes 2 hours to understand what is this mod? What is it doing? Why am I using this? And the sim part of it is in the vanilla game, when you jump into a system, nothing is happening in that system until you spawn in the system. And then there's a few ships there that just spawn in randomly as a trigger because you came into the system.
Yeah.
Well, now there's, a couple of Freestar ships and maybe a Gal Bank ship flying around, and that's kind of it. What this does is it turns on a simulation in the background that there's an economy all the time, even when you're not there. There's ships flying in, ships flying out, they're moving cargo, they're patrolling, they're defending their borders against other factions. So all of that is always going in the background on this new mod.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
that's, I think, what people are having a hard time understanding, that and the being able to how it changes navigation.
Yeah. I like
so-
the whole
Yeah.
stuff happening in the background, but changing the map. I mean, I understand why he probably did it to simplify it. But I mean, having been an EVE Online player where I was used to a huge galaxy with hundreds and hundreds of systems, and how they were able to navigate the faction stuff, which part of it was player driven, assuming you joined one of when they had the expansion, the actual militia startup is what it was. Players could join a militia of one of the 4 factions, and constantly pushing the boundaries of the factions. It reminds me of that, so I'm very
I've
interested in
heard
the
the
mod.
name
But
EVE Online mentioned a few times. So
oh
I
yeah, because I
think
played
we've
it
kinda-
pretty extensively for probably 5 years or so. It
Wow.
was such a fun game, and there's elements of Starfield that I wish EVE Online could have had. Like, well, I mean, you're always in your ship, pretty much always.
Mhm.
At some point after I'd stopped playing, they introduced this thing where you get out of your ship when you dock at a space station. You kind of walk around your little room, but aside from that, you're pretty much just always in your spaceship. And yeah, very fun game, but
It
technical.
seems like this Star Sim has taken a few of the elements and ideas from a few of these space games,
Yeah, yeah,
particularly EVE Online, and kind of figured out a way to incorporate them. But they're having some growing pains, and so it's still kind of ish in the playtesting, beta playtesting. I mean, I don't think it
Okay.
says it's in playtesting, but you listen to the interviews and he's talking about, well, the more, if you want something in this mod, you just let us know. We're going to come out with different blocks that add on to this, you know, additional pieces that help, fill out the universe
Yeah.
per se. So there's a lot to it. I'm not quite ready to devote an entire game to
Well,
it yet.
Yeah.
I want to see where it lands, how long, what happens. But it's very interesting. I just wanted to talk about it and bring it to everybody's attention that listens to us.
Yeah.
And
Once
if,
they,
they want to check out. If any of you, our listeners, are using this mod, please, please, please let us know that you're using it. Let us know what you think. And if you would be willing to, we could get you on with the two of us, and we could do a whole episode about it and talk about it and use you as our user expert and kind of poke around and see what we think about it.
yeah, that'd be a good idea. Get somebody on to talk about it. I imagine it could be a month or two before we do that, just because of wanting to make sure they, if there's any big kind of updates and kind of finishing touches they want on the mod. I mean, granted, it might perpetually
Well,
be
I'm watching them
updated, but
update it every day. Since it's Um,
I mean, if they're updating a mod every day, I mean,
because you're with a paid mod, you can't upgrade the mod from version 1.0 to version 1.0.1 to 1.0.2 without going through the QC, right? And the
okay.
QC lineup now is slowed down quite considerably after all of the layoffs and stuff that's happened at Microsoft and Xbox and Bethesda. So it seems to have slowed down quite a bit. So maybe they don't have as much of the personnel doing the QC stuff for creations right now as they had in the past. So it's taking longer. I mean, we know that because Darkstar took 2 months to go from presented to Bethesda to actually getting published on the creations. It took like 2 months.
Yeah.
So what they're doing to kind of help skip that line is they're doing hot patches. So you can go in and download the free patch, which adds additional
Gotcha.
content to their mod or changes or bug fixes or whatever. And they're doing it pretty quickly.
Okay.
So you can go through and look at all the whatever patches they've put out and decide if that's an advancement you want to go for or not. Like I said, I'm curious about it. I'm curious about a lot of stuff happening right now. One of the other things I wanted to mention, in addition to this Star Sim, is I watched somebody talking about terraforming planets, and that there's a mod author that has a stream, and he's talking about being able to take a barren planet, like say Earth,
Yeah.
and then add an atmosphere and start layering, adding an atmosphere, adding biomes, adding water, and then adding fauna and layering
Mhm.
flora on top of flora on top of flora. So you have a field of grass in this biome, and then you have some short plants that's layered on top of that, and then you have some taller plants that are layered on top of that, and then you have some really big plants and so it fills out the entire thing. And then
Yeah.
by the time he's done, he's got an entire living breathing habitable planet that he's terraformed as a
Okay.
creation in the creation kit. So it's exciting to see people stepping out in this direction and moving on from gun skins to armor skins to spaceship hab skins to, then there was planet skins, like New Atlantis reimagined kind of a thing. Well, now they're all the way stepped out to, well, let's see what we can do with entire planets. And I think that was kind of the design choice in the beginning from Bethesda to put 1,000 different bodies in this galaxy. And Bethesda said, we're going to use 20, 30, 50, whatever. But there's a bunch out there. So you
Yeah.
guys go out there and take a hold of a planet and make a creation on it and populate it and do whatever you
Yeah.
want with it and call it a creation. And then the rest of the community can add that to their game.
Yeah.
And
Well, and unlike
I'm excited.
Skyrim,
There's a
for
lot of stuff.
example, and we've talked about this before, but there's a heat map for Skyrim that shows you if you make a mod, are there other mods there? And or if you're just going to download a mod, you're a player, just going to download a mod, you'll see, okay, these two mods use the same space. They will crash the game because they use the same space.
Right.
So the cool thing about Starfield is, short of people doing stuff right there in New Atlantis or Kila City or Neon, if they just want to make something totally on their own, they can go to heck, they could go to Jemison planet, which is where New Atlantis is. They could just put something on the other side of the planet.
Right.
And
Just as long as you're in a different cell.
It's its own. It's going to be its own cell, because like the cell around New Atlantis is constant for everybody. Like there's this plateau that's always there, and so this guy was able to make a mod of some kind of habitat or something up there. I've heard some player home, I think, but yeah, you can build a cell, heck, right next to New Atlantis. Just scroll over, okay, and you can make yourself a little
Right.
abandoned mining facility or something, and build it from scratch in a procedurally generated grid, just like the game would when you land on a planet. Procedurally generates that grid every time. You do that in the creation kit, and now you have your own custom place that somebody else could have one right next to it, and both icons would just probably stack like they do when there's a cluster of them, right? And
Right.
so
Yeah. So this guy, what he was doing was, his premise was, have you ever looked at Starfield and tried to find your perfect paradise planet? Right? It's got breathable atmosphere. It's got, relatively one-to-one gravity. It's got safe water. It's got plenty of life. It's got plenty of plants. And you can get some of those, but it's hard. There's only one or two that are like all of them
gotcha.
in the whole of the Starfield map. So he decided to figure out, how can I'll just create my own paradise planet. And so you get what he was doing was creating these wonderful biomes with, the looks and the colors and the different plants and whatnot that he was mixing and layering together to give a particular look. Like cherry blossom fields was one of them I remember seeing. That was just this rolling valley of these cherry blossoms of pink and white. And it was, from a distance, it was stunning. But then when you got into it and started walking through it, it was even more stunning. It was like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
To put whatever plants you want where you want and make these entire biomes and regions.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for people to start playing with that and see what people can do.
Yeah, for a high level Starborn character, from a role player's perspective, it's like eventually you would think he would learn how to terraform a planet. So that would be
Yeah. Well, as a gamer person interested in this game, and I've been invested in it, socially or gaming wise since it came out, and just watching the progress of people figuring out how to make their own custom workbenches, to making custom workbenches that won't glitch, that you can get to, that don't say they're blocked, and then making custom workbenches that are the size of a dinner, placemat, and then workbenches that are the size of a compass, right?
Yeah.
I've seen one where the whole navigation bench is the size of an old school compass, and that's what it's represented by, is the little model of a compass, right? The little flip open compass.
Yeah.
That you could set on your desk.
Yeah.
Well, they've shrunk the entire nav down to this little, the little size, and you can set that on anywhere in your ship, and now you have a navigation console, right?
You just hit that and
So,
open it up.
and I'm just watching all of these incremental steps of people learning how to use the CK, and it opens up a little bit more, and then it'll be a couple of months, and then somebody will discover something else, and then other people will start using that, and it'll open up a little more and a little more and a little more, a little more, and people are doing more and more and more and more and more. And if I wasn't so busy and lazy, I would be more into the CK, but I don't know. It's the fear of the unknown, maybe. It feels like I need to set aside a block of 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
Just to jump in and start doing it, and because I don't know how to save my progress, I'm not sure what I'm doing, and I just really don't want to get a portion of the way through a project and lose it all, and have to start from scratch the next time I open the kit up. So it's got me a little spooked, but I'm gonna figure it out eventually, somehow, some way.
Yeah, we were gonna do some CK stuff over the summer here, with me having that period of time off. Working from home, but the problem was is the working from home increased, plus me not going into the office, so to speak, meant that the extra time I did have at home that I wasn't working was kind of set aside for uh, just house stuff and other
Priorities.
stuff. So, but my work schedule might change. If it changes the way I think it's going to change, then um, I might have like a dedicated couple hours a week to be able to be on with you, and we can be doing the CK together. It's kind of
Yeah, we're working. We're gonna work it out. We're
Yeah.
gonna try to figure something out, work it out. We can get some time together to kind of
Yeah.
explore it together and figure out what we're doing and how it works.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like a cool mod, being able to terraform planets and whatnot.
Right, and it's. I don't know that it's a mod per se. It's
He's learned how
somebody
to do
learning
that
how to
in the
use the
CK.
CK, and the mod would actually be an entire terraformed planet that you could go, oh well, that was this,
Yeah.
Boar Moon 2,
Yeah.
which was just a barren moon, but then you download this mod and it's a full paradise style planet with maybe a couple of interesting POIs or a city.
Yeah.
I don't know, right?
Yeah. That'd
This
be.
was just somebody trying to basically tell the world, hey, look, check this out. I figured out how to terraform planets in the CK and how they did it, and I was able to unlock those secrets in the CK, and I'm sharing with everybody else.
Mhm.
This is how you do it. So it's just kind of another door that modders have stepped through or are stepping through
Yeah.
to increase the power and usability of the CK kit.
Yeah. It'll be good to see what the modding community puts out with that, now that they have knowledge of how to do all that.
Right.
Let's see. My
Yeah. What'd you do?
my gameplay here. So I'm going to show some pictures. I found this sword, and I don't. It's a, what was it called? It was called a
Cyber
Siggo
Runner.
cord.
Oh no.
So it's the same name as that that gang that's in. It looks like a Crimson Fleet sword. I don't know where this sword came from. I don't think it's vanilla. I need to figure it out. But it's a sweet looking sword, and I need to find it. And my Cyber Runner needs it, because my Cyber Runner eventually got one of those the best sword you can get in the vanilla game, the Wakashashi or something like that. I think it starts with the W.
Yeah, Wakasashi.
And so that's what I need to get her, that sword there.
That looks like a vibro blade.
Yeah, the way it has
You know
it,
what I mean?
that edge, that's like almost like that could be like an electrically charged edge or something.
Right. And then back towards the pommel, it's got stuff that looks like it's
Could be
wires
buttons. Yeah.
and buttons and stuff that you would turn on, and it would cause the blade to vibrate at such a high frequency that it would become like a Vorpal weapon.
It had a couple effects on it. I believe it. So I think it was purples with the 2 effects on it, but it didn't have any upgrades on it, like component upgrades. I should have looked at it at the crafting bench on my space trucker just to see, but it didn't have anything. So I don't know. I'll figure it out eventually for her.
One way you can try to figure out where it's from is if, in order to make one of your own in the Dark Star, right, using the Dark Star
Weapon crafting.
weapon crafting, right?
Yeah.
So if it's not in the Dark Star weapon crafting bench, then you need to go over to the Shattered Space bench and see if it's in that one. And then you would know that it's from the Shattered Space DLC. If it's not there, then go over to the Terran Armada bench and see if it's in there. And then you would know that that was released with Terran Armada.
Gotcha. Okay.
If it's not in any of those, then it's going to be somehow injected into your game through a mod. But
Yeah.
you don't typically use those.
No,
kind of mods,
I
do
don't.
you?
I don't have equipment mods generally. Dark Star is the closest to an equipment mod I have. I mean, I have
Right. And that
skins.
just takes, right. The Dark Star just takes vanilla assets that are
Yeah.
already in the game and modifies them
Yeah.
according to the way that Bethesda has the upgrade tree.
Yeah.
And then Wicked
Yeah.
just went through and said, okay, Bethesda said there's this much increase between level 1, 2, and 3. Well, I'm going to put a level 4, 5, and 6 using the same system that Bethesda used to increase it that much higher.
Yes, it's very lore friendly and scales naturally as you play the game.
Right. It scales the same way that
Yeah.
Bethesda scales everything.
And this was definitely not just a new skin on an existing weapon, because I remember the damage being very high for the sword. It was, I think, over 900. So
Wow.
I've got a feeling it has to be a mod, somehow a mod thing. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But I only just discovered that late last night, so I didn't have time to dig on it. So next,
And did you get this loot from a character?
I have no idea where I got it. Well,
It's
99
in your inventory. Like, wow,
yeah.
that's kind of cool.
99% chance that it came from somebody. because when I'm pillaging and running around exploring, well, the way I'm doing my exploring as I'm scanning the whole galaxy is I go to a planet. I go to the innermost planet in the solar system. So I'm currently still doing the literal solar system. So I started with Mercury.
Yeah.
I'll fly to that planet. If there's a location from orbit that I already see, a lab or a robotics factory or whatever, some kind of POI, I will land there first to check out what that thing is. A lot of times it's a trading post where there's a provisioner, so I can go interact with them. Sometimes, like half the time, they say, "Hey, there's these pirates nearby harassing us. Can you take care of them?" So I take care of them, do the whole, just kind of role playing it, and then I'll in that cell I will do as much scanning of the resources and fauna and flora as I can. If I have to land somewhere else to continue scanning the planet, I'll just land on some other random spot. But I'm just constantly looting, and I don't even pay attention to the stuff I'm picking up. I just collect it, throw it in my cargo hold. I mean, my ship has like 12,000 cargo, so I've got a lot of cargo space on it. I just huck the cargo in there, and eventually, once I have a bunch, I go to the or I put it in my ship now, so I don't have to go to Paradiso anymore. I go to my legendary codex machine, throw all my weapons in there, and just strip all the codexes off, which I'll have so many in there. It'll take like 5 minutes. So at that point, I'll get up and leave my computer while that's running. And
one of the original deals on the codex machine was not to put in more than 25 items at a time before you run it. I don't know if he's modified it and optimized it, but
I'm pretty sure I've done more than 25.
Freestar very first came out, there was a kind of a warning that says, hey, you can put as many as you want, but if you put over around 25, you run the risk of crashing the game. So I always just put in 25 and then I run off and do whatever I'm going to do. And I turn that stupid sound off, that quack, 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 quack.
Well, see, I like the sound because when it does the shutdown at the end, so I'm like, hey, I'm done. Because like if it's at nighttime, I'll be brushing my teeth or doing stuff right upstairs here. But that's good to know. I guess I'll always do a hard save right before I do that, just in case. Although I usually have an auto save, because right there just before I start doing it, because I would have just traveled to my ship, got out of the captain's chair, ran down to the workbench, and then but yeah, so I'll have to find that sword eventually. Let's see, this next picture I took, I happened to, as I was scanning the Vigilance, since I haven't started the Crimson Fleet quest in this universe yet. The Vigilance is outside. It's orbiting one of the moons around Mars. That's where by default it always is until you start the quest. Then it starts moving. So you can see how big my Event Horizon 2 ship is. It's probably about half the length, or maybe more than half the length of it. I mean, and for sure, granted, I've seen ships that are bigger than this, to be fair, than mine. But this is huge. I mean, because the front part of my ship is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So like a full length ship would be the length of the front plus that first radiator. That's the vanilla length of a biggest ship you can make. So mine's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 longer. So it's 16 units long, but 10 is the maximum. So when it lands on planets, it's a little ridiculous sometimes, because like it'll be clipped into the hillside sometimes, and so I sometimes will have to fast travel directly into my vehicle because I'll be stuck under the ship.
My newest ship, the loading, the the bay where you get in.
Yeah.
I built it into the underside of one of the back wings. So when it's
Okay.
closed up, there's you don't see anything unless you look underneath, and there's like a little depression
Oh.
right there. And then when it opens, you come out and you're standing under the wing. You have to turn and walk towards the front of the ship to walk out from underneath the ship on the wing.
Okay. I've
It's pretty
never
neat.
I've never thought to do that, but you can totally pull that off, hiding the bay in structure. So you
Yeah,
just don't see it. I've never thought to
right.
do
It's
that.
there, but
Yeah.
it's tucked up under the wing. And
Okay.
so, like I say, when I'm flying, when you fly the ship around, you don't see it.
You don't
And
see the
then when
bay.
you
Yeah.
land, the other two ships, the little one has the bay coming out the rear. The
Okay.
middle ship, the avant-garde, has it coming directly out of the side in front of the wing. It's very
Yep. Yep.
obvious. It's right there. But the newest ship,
The big
it's
one. Yeah.
stashed up inside of the wing where all the structure of the wing is around it. So
Yeah.
it's, I don't know. I was really proud of that design choice when I worked it out, and I was like, oh, that gives me just enough space to tuck this in right here, and that's my main corridor, main
Hmm.
block inside the
Hmm.
ship that goes all the way up to the the top where
Yeah.
the bridge is, and then that's my connector all the way around the ship. So
I did
it,
that
it worked out
with
pretty good.
the Docker once on a ship. Not necessarily as an intentional design choice. It was a smaller ship, and I had nowhere else to put it, so I realized I could just snap the piece of structure down over the Docker, but the ring went above. It was one of the top. I think it was probably the flat top Docker I used, because then the ring went above the structure, so then I could still technically dock. But wow,
Yep.
yeah, I've never thought to do that with the bay. You learn something new every day. Let's see, this next picture I took during my, well, most of these are all from my scanning run on my space trucker, but just this beautiful shot of Jupiter, or is that Saturn? Almost looks like I can't remember now. The rings on Jupiter are definitely not as pronounced, so I'm assuming that's got to be Saturn. But that almost looks like the red storm, the giant storm that's
Yeah, I think
on.
that's going to be Saturn.
So yeah, those rings are pretty much more pronounced there. Yeah, that was a beautiful shot. I landed, and a lot of times I like to land around sunrise sunset because you get some cool dynamics, dynamic effects with the atmosphere on some of the moons that are low atmosphere. And I just happened to look back at the ship. I was like, wow, that's just a beautiful shot. And then,
Yeah.
so this next picture, my moon jumper next picture. If you see all that debris on the ground, the weirdest thing happened as I'm
Yeah.
driving towards this building. Suddenly there was like something snapped, like there was like a slight hiccup of frame rate, and all of this, it looked like a building. It was all solid mass. Everything was stacked, so it looked like solid walls was just sinking. And it looked like a building was sinking into the ground. But what it was all of this debris, and some of it I'm pretty sure even clipped through the ground because there was way more than that originally. It was all nice and neat and orderly and stacked. And as I drove towards it, it was like I triggered something to make it fall, and then when it hit the ground, it just scattered. It was the
It
weirdest
just
bug.
blasted. That's funny.
And then, yep, 2 moon jumpers for the price of 1. And so, to all of you players out there that still haven't even found 1 moon jumper, I came across the radio tower when I was out doing my scanning, and this one I did not see from orbit. Where the first time I got my moon jumper, the POI was there from orbit before I even landed. So I'm like, oh, there's the broadcasting tower. I'm just going to go land straight at it and go get it. In this case, I had already landed, and I was looking at the map. I'm like, oh, there's a broadcasting tower. I wonder. Sure enough, there was the moon jumper, second one. Now I didn't want to break the game. I didn't want a bonus feature of getting in that one and breaking my game. So I did not try to get into it, but the pirates were there for me to kill and everything. I took him out. Next guy. Okay, I want to know what type of alien DNA this guy has on. Where I'm pointing at the guy. You see that? Because can you tell me what's wrong with this picture?
You're in a spacesuit and he's just breathing normal.
Yep, he's 0 atmosphere planet and he's just chilling. He looks very similar to my combat medic with his hair and stuff. But yeah, I'm like, what the heck? Where's your spacesuit, dude? Let's see. Next picture. This one's a good one. This is of that's Uranus. Yeah. Yep. And another classic example of just kind of landing and got out of my ship and just looked around, and wow, that was just a beautiful shot. You can see all the rings and stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
So that was the extent of my my general gameplay for the week.
Exploring, yeah.
All right, so now we are on to the main event of this episode, which is the next Freestar Ranger quest. Now, the previous quest we did, it ended where you have two choices to pick from. And we both chose to do this one, which is Surgical Strike. The other one, you go to Red Mile. So it doesn't matter which one you do them, the order you do them in, but you get to pick. Heck, I think you could almost do them simultaneously. Like you could start the one and then even switch to the other one. But obviously, if you're starting one, just finish it and then go do the other one. But I do remember this mission. I remember liking it a lot because there's a bit of a mixture of some kind of a little role play, sneaking around, and also some finale with some action. So we go to the clinic. And now the clinic is run by a doctor who is part of the board of governors that you've mentioned frequently. And so there's 4 governors. There's the mayor of Aquila City. There's the doctor at the clinic. There's Benjamin Bayou of Neon City, and Ron Hope himself. So anyways, you go to the clinic because you're supposed to find Maya Cruz. She is a member of the first, which is the unit that was from the Colonies Wars on the Colony War on the Freestar Collective side. And she might be at the clinic because she had some kind of, I can't remember if it was an injury or an ailment of some kind that she needed advanced treatment for.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's very few places in the known galaxy that could treat her health issues. And so this was a good place to go and kind of start because they have some of the most advanced medical, procedures and equipment.
Yep.
So this would be a good place to start and start asking questions.
Yeah, and so I think, if I remember right, the game prompts you to go talk to the Freestar Ranger deputy that's on site there.
Yeah, so this would be the Ranger Ben Armistead that you want to go talk to him.
Yeah. And I was a bit
there, and go ahead.
I was going to say I was a bit disappointed that my Neon Street Rat dialogue, I didn't get the chance to do any of that with him at all, and so I was a little disappointed in that. Like my background didn't factor, but he didn't have much to offer because he only talks to you for just a moment and sends you over to walks you over to Ari, the tech guy.
Right. Yep. So yeah, he sends you over to Ari. Ari's pretty straightforward and forthcoming, and decides that he can go look through the computer logs and see who's on station and try to help you find Maya Cruz. But of course, alas, there is no Maya Cruz here. There is a VIP wing, which is very mysterious and very private, right? So, he's able to get in there. Oh no, you need to get permission to.
But before that, he does make mention that when he's looking at the computer, let me show you the screenshot real quick. I happened to look down at the computer when he was sitting there, and so you'll in the pictures you'll see it there. He's on the screen. It actually has lists of what look kind of like numbers and stuff, and like as he's working on it, like the cursor was like highlighting the different cells and the different charts and stuff, and it's like they didn't need to do that, but just the fact that they did the attention to detail to doing that was awesome. Like that, this NPC
it makes it actually appear in game that he's using the keyboard to manipulate the screen.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
But he happens to mention that their computer systems have been having issues lately. And then so you go to the computer, back to the Freestar office, Ranger office, to access the terminal there. And there's a
Yeah. Well, if we remember right, I'm tracking Maya Cruz, a technical genius.
exactly.
Hmm.
And so when you go to the computer, the Freestar Ranger office on the wall, you there's this glaringly obvious like subroutine being run, which is probably there to, help cover her tracks. And so
Right.
you go bring that up to him, and he says, "Okay, if you want to get into the VIP wing, you got to go talk to Doctor. What was his name? Dr. Cassidy, if I remember."
Let's see. Check my key. Yeah, Cassidy Doolin.
Yeah.
And that's the guy that's on the governor's board or on the
Or Dr. Titus Cassidy.
Titus Cassidy. Okay.
Yeah, that's his name. But yeah,
I'm looking at Candace Doolin. I'm sorry. Candace Doolin, I think, is the that this guy's name for Maya Cruz. Is that right?
oh, something along those lines.
The clinic's operations.
Yeah, so Dr. Cassidy's a total hard ass, and he's not too helpful. I remember on my space trucker, he didn't let me in the VIP wing. I had to go steal the card out of his office. Oh, because that's the funny thing. Ari just freely tells you, but I guess you're a deputy, so maybe he's kind of leans towards helping an investigation.
Wants to be cooperative with the local law enforcement.
Yeah, because I went up to Cassidy, and I was like, "Yeah, I need your help." He's like, "I require you to help me." Shows badge. All the options were show badge, but it's just how you word it.
Right.
And I was like, "I require your help."
One of them was kind of begging. One of them was kind of telling him, "Hey, I'm the authority here. You need to help me."
Yeah.
And the other one was like really forceful. "Hey, you're going to help me whether you like it or not."
Yeah.
Was it like kind of the three choices you had? Kind of friendly, and then neutral, and then super aggressive.
Yeah. So I chose kind of the neutral one of saying that I require your help, because my character she's trying to come across like a half decent detective or half deputy, and so he of course shoots you down. And then at that point you go into the dialogue to try to persuade him, but I had the option to choose medicine, which I get funny. My space trucker must have just not had that as an option, because I distinctly remember I had to go steal the card from his office. And but anyways, I chose medicine with this character, and he's like, "Oh well, okay," like as though I'm a fellow doctor. But so I was tempted to reload the save and tried just a persuasion check, but I'm like, well, my character, she would have known her way around labs, because that's part of her backstory with getting the alien DNA trait. She had been at labs being experimented on, had that, and broke out of the lab eventually. So she kind of knows her way around labs and can potentially, sweet talk, some guys, or just persuade them with skill versus just random chance. But if you do go to steal the key card, it's in his office. I can't remember where. Oh, there's a safe on the wall behind his desk. Is that where it's at? I think.
I was able to. I think I ended up using persuasion check, and then I got the option of manipulate in the persuasion check, which is almost always an instant okie dokie.
Okay.
So it was like, "Hey, I know you really want to try to work with me, right?"
Yep.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Here's my key. And then, he basically just says, "Hey, try to keep it on the down low. These people, they want to be private, so don't raise a ruckus in there."
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, okay, so there's three ways to get to the VIP wing. The first way is to talk to him and convince him, and of that, the medicine skill is the only one that would give an automatic clearance to go in, or you can do the persuasion check, of course. The second way is to go to the safe behind his desk in the wall, and it's a Novus level safe, and it when you steal it, it does not incur a stolen penalty. So I'm assuming then nobody is scripted to go into the office and watch you do it. So you're safe to do that. If you're low level, it's a novice level, safe. Pick the lock, get the key card. The third option is pickpocket Dr. Cassidy himself because he's got one on his. Oh yeah, that's right. Because I think it already says something about a spare key card in the office. So that means the main key card is on Dr. Cassidy himself that you can pickpocket.
That's another one of those skills that just seems to take forever to get leveled up. Is the pickpocket one?
Yeah, you have to be committed to grinding it.
Right. You just go to Neon and go into each building, find somebody standing there by themselves, and sneak up to them when nobody's looking, and then you got to make sure nobody's looking over your shoulder.
Yep.
When you do it. 25 times the first time, 50 times the second time, 100 times the third time. You're like, oh my gosh, I got to pickpocket 100 people, or I don't know how many it is, but it gets to a point that's kind of ridiculous, and you're like, I'll just like advance this as I play through the game.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to double check the tiers and see what like benefits they have, and if all four of them, if like the highest one is like really cool stuff, I might just have to set aside some grinding time because I tried to do a lot of pickpocket and Neon before, like back when my character was just solely on Neon. In her low levels, but it was tough. The chance of getting detected was so high with so many people everywhere, and like she is a thief, but she also is trying to be street smart and savvy, and like more kind of mob style in how she handles it. Where like she's not going to steal from the shop owners directly. She's not going to pickpocket them. She would be more of a mob approach of like, hey, pay up, right? Obviously, mechanically, you can't do it in the game, but that's her headspace. So she's not going to go into a shop, like Frankie's or any of the shops in Neon Core and steal from them. So, yeah, I'll have to look into the pickpocketing later. But so you go into the VIP wing, which is back out. You have to come back out into the lobby and around a corner, and there's the door, and it loads into a new area.
Yep.
And what do we see when we walk through the door?
As soon as we walk in, there is blood smears all over the floor. Isn't that right?
Mm-hmm. And there's a dead body.
Thinking right?
And the doctor's
dead.
it's
a dead body right there. And blood smear. Oh, that's right. There's like a doctor or a nurse or somebody dead on the floor.
Yep.
Or maybe it's one of the other VIPs. Because there's supposed to be at least 2 or 3 in here.
Well, right? No, there's no other NPCs in there. Which that would have been, I don't know how they could have. Would have been nice to have another one, maybe just like sleeping in a bed when you walk in and you could wake him up.
But when you look through the logs, it says there's 3 different VIPs in there because you're trying to track down what her alias name is. And there's 3 different names, and you kind of look at the different reports on each one of them to decide, oh, this is more likely the one that's right. And that's when you figure out that Catalina Rivera is probably the name I'm looking for.
Yeah. Well, exactly. And they should have had the other VIPs in there, and somehow, even if it was behind a locked door and you just look in and they're just asleep and and it's inaccessible, but there's
in a bed, in a room,
something.
Sure.
But I couldn't quite remember if there was anybody even in there, so I swept it I did a proper sweep, just checked all the rooms. There's like 3 or 4 little rooms. And then you go into the room where Maya was, and there's a computer there. You can access the computer. And she had done some kind of routine, but then there's also a handy dandy slate nearby. You pick that up, and it like gives you all the information. It's like here on a silver platter.
All of these masterminds, and they leave their notebook behind that's got their entire master plan written out in plain English right there on a notebook on the damn table right there.
There's got to be another way to figure it out. I guess you could have maybe say the inside the computer when she was communicating, maybe because you're a deputy kind of now.
Encrypted message board that you could get access to her encrypted messages, and then if your computer skills high enough, you can, try to break the encryption and read the message from her colleague.
Yeah, but they chose to do the easy silver platter.
Here's a slate. Here's what's going on.
So now you have to go to a space station or an abandoned mine on an asteroid.
It's an abandoned mine. Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
And so I went there And I had
So far we've had no real action, just
Yep.
a lot of poking around and investigation and
Yep.
detective work, right?
Yeah, no action so far. So I went to this space station, and let me show you this shot of Aquila City real quick. It was that was actually when I went back. So we'll get to that later. But anyways, yeah. So when I docked to the space station, it was this beautiful shot because there's the gas giant in the background with all the rocks floating around, and my ship it's the one that looks like a submarine, so it's docked vertically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just a cool picture I got of that.
I got pictures like that too somewhere that I took, but I didn't end up getting them to the Discord. Where is it? Is it this one? Yeah, here we go.
See what you got. Oh, geez, your ship is huge.
Right.
Oh, it's clipping into.
Yes, that's how big it is. Oops.
Is that more? That's got to be bigger than vanilla, then, is it? Are you
Maybe.
larger?
I
Yeah,
It's
you
wider.
exceed
I'm pretty sure
vanilla.
it's wider than vanilla because
Yeah.
about at least half of the different places that I land, the wings clip a little bit.
Yep, that's funny. So yeah, when you navigate into this place, let's see. I think you kind of you go into the first little area, and you have to go through these double airlock setup. You walk into a room and you hear Maya come over a recording or a mic, and she's like, "I heard you, Doc. If you're here, I'm assuming you're here to take me in, and I've been preparing for this," or however she says it. There's a good amount of loot in this first little area before you go down into the asteroid itself. So there's a security office to the left, with some weapons in it, and I think a master level room with a couple more weapons in it. And then if you go to up the stairs on the right, there's some residences. The place is abandoned, right? But there's some cred sticks and it's a little bit of loot up there you can find. Nothing super fancy, but so head up there, and then you go through, or as you go down into the dirt, that's when these little buggers, they look like giant crickets or grasshoppers. I can't remember what they're called,
Right.
but they come out of the dirt and attack you. Sometimes they'll just be walking around, but sometimes they'll come out of the dirt. And these things hit me like a freight train. It was like 3 hits and I was dead.
Yeah,
And
this was the first time I played through this. It was really difficult getting past these guys.
yeah,
I've geared up a bit since then, so I just jumped onto one of the crystals and then I would like drop a grenade down.
hmm
Because I would use my star sense and see that there's one under the ground over here. And so in order to get them to activate, I would throw a mine down on the ground. They would come up and then I would just shoot them from the safety of standing up, 2 levels up on a crystal in this mine. And that's how I cleared it. I didn't have any problems clearing it because I was able to I didn't have to get close hand to hand on them.
yeah, yeah. I think there's 3 areas. I think 3 areas you come across these guys. There's the first one, and then a robot, then another little group of these guys, and then you keep going through all these crystal caves, and then you come across the
Aren't there some spots
third
where
one.
there's turrets that are up
Yeah,
that
there's a
fire
couple.
down on you?
Well,
Mhm.
a couple small turrets in this initial phase. There's one of those dog robots. Now, down where that dog robot is, there's a building to the right, but there's the way you're supposed to proceed if you pull it up on your map is a door to the left, but it's shut and you can't open it. But you notice a little wire on the ground, and if you follow that wire, it goes back to this building. So I actually
Yep.
remembered that from my previous playthrough, all those years ago, and I went straight to the building first to open the door at that computer console.
Yeah.
And so just keep an eye around because there's some buildings or like little habitat building like things in here with modest loot in them. Then you come out, you go through a door, load into a huge area, and you're at the top of an elevator shaft with a stairwell as well. Now you can ride the elevator down, but I hate being on elevators because my thought process is it's noisy. Everybody's going to hear me coming. I'm going to avoid elevators as best I can. So you start walking down the staircase, but you reach a point where it's broken and it's a drop. And so I had Lyria with me at that point, and I started, or Lyria, or however you pronounce her name. So she and I started just shooting at the robots. And as soon as we shot the first one, my radar just lit up like a Christmas tree. There was several robots, and I think there's 6 of those mining turrets, which will shoot at you.
Those are the big turrets that take
Yeah.
a few shots to take them out, huh?
Yeah, they take several shots to take out. And what's funny is when I went down, I totally forgot about those, and I'm trying to find. For some reason, I don't know if my game glitched, but they didn't start shooting at me till I shot at it. I think that was probably a glitch because once I killed the last robot, I see all these red marks on my radar. I'm like, what the heck? What is this? And so I looked up and then I saw the turret and I remembered. I'm like, oh, that's right. It's these huge mining turrets. So I took them out one by one. And thankfully, they didn't they're all spaced around. So I don't know if they might not all be able to shoot you at the same time anyways. But
Yeah, I think they're obstructed to, so as you move around the whole complex, you'll get into an opening where one of them can start firing at you.
yeah.
And of course, you kind of try to jump and hide behind something and move across the opening to the other side of the room. And as you get out of the line of sight of that first one, a second one opens up on your back, and then you got to turn around and take that one out. And so it's constant. What do you call the pop goes the weasel, right? Where you whack-a-mole.
Yeah, whack-a-mole.
It's kind of a game of whack-a-mole as you move around, and one
and
pops
you're the
up
mole.
over here. You're the mole. Yep.
Yeah, and that was overall. It was a fun battle against the droids, and I was able to take out the first couple from on top, but they started getting into positions where I wasn't able to really get a line of sight on them without completely exposing myself. So I had to drop down below and then navigate that way, and so Lyra and I took care of them all. Let's see, and then there's a center structure with a lot of crystals and the platform. So you go up the ramp and and there's one last small turret right above the door that you can't, until you can see it, you can't get the drop on it. It's going to get a shot or two off on you before you can take it out, at least as far as I could tell. And then you open the door. Maya Cruz is there with was it a minigun? I think she has. Or I think it's just a minigun. And she starts unloading on you. Yeah, the microgun. And she starts unloading on you, and eventually she goes into a down state once you get her down. I ended up pulling out my sword and bum rushing her at that point. I was kind of tired of using my laser rifle. I bum rushed her and hit her with the sword like 3 times, and she went down.
Yeah. I shot her a few times with my Wazer rifle and didn't take much with that to get her downed. Yep. So then she talks to you. And she's like, well, I'm going to die soon anyway, so, whatever. I don't have no allegiances to nobody. And then she gives you some information, she gives you a slate and says, here, if you can decrypt it, the information's all yours. But, good luck with that. That's all I'm going to do for you. That's kind of how my conversation went, I think.
Yeah. And I remembered on my first playthrough with my space trucker, I was more genuine with the being a Freestar deputy. But even then, I went ahead and let her go. I was like, man, she's on a backwater planet, or asteroid mine in this case. She's not going anywhere. And so I went ahead and just let her live at the time. I was like, all right. So because especially since she's verifiably dying and she's already left the clinic and she's terminal.
Mm-hmm. And she goes and crawls onto a cot.
And lays down. Yep.
Right? Lays down for
a nap.
Her final nap.
Well,
and so you just left her there?
Well, so yeah, with both my characters, I just left her there. On my space trucker, though, I can't remember why, but I went back there. There was a purpose I went back there for. It wasn't like a quest or something. I think I wanted to go. I think maybe what it was I didn't find the loot chest there, and so it was after I'd completed the Freestar quest altogether, and I was like, a lot of times I'll go and I'll be like, oh, hey, I'll go online and try to find, see if I missed anything over the
Mhm.
course of an entire quest line. And sometimes that means there might be loot I can't get to now because I left the area and you can't go back into it. But in this case, it was like, yeah, there's this chest here. Because after you talk to her, you ride down an elevator to the bottom, and then there's a huge door that has since opened for you, which is kind of like a shortcut to get back to the where you first come into the facility. And there, that's like it's the room that they make all the robots in, and there happens to be a loot chest in there that I had missed. So on my space trucker the first time, I go back there, and I decided to go up there and talk to her, and she's dead.
She was already
And
dead.
there was I think I'm not mistaken. I'll look at it. Go ahead and tell me what you did while I look this thing
Yeah.
up though.
I did very similar. Talked her into giving me the slate, and she convinces me that she's terminal. She's gonna die. She's having a bad way of it, and I could just leave her be. She's gonna be dead in a day or so anyway. So I take the slate, and I walk off. I go turn around to go outside of the little room that she's in, and then I remember, hold on, there's a door on the other side over there that leads to an elevator that takes me directly down. I don't have to go through all this mess. So I turn
Yeah.
around to walk back in, and I see her laying on her bed with her back to me, and I'm like, she's in a lot of pain. And the poor girl, she gave me her, so, it's just the 25-cent cost of a bullet, and I can put her out of her misery and do a mercy kill it. So yeah, I shot her in the back. Blam, dead. Then I looted her, took the what little money she had, and I may have taken her suit. I'm not sure if she's got a special suit. I think that's the suit I took. That's the officer's suit from the Legion 1. Is that right? The Legion?
The first.
The first, that's what I'm
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
say. Yes, the officer's suit from the first. So I got that outfit, and then walked off out of there. And at that point, we're tasked with going back to Aquila, right?
Yeah. Let me
I forgot that I
before
had
we get there
contraband.
though, let me show you this though. So if you do happen to go back, and I don't know how soon this would appear, but she leaves a note behind. Maya's last words: "Before I close my eyes one last time, I wanted to leave some words for whoever might find me here. I won't miss my life. It was filled with violence from the start, but at least it didn't end that way. That's thanks to a certain Freestar Ranger deputy who let me die quietly and in peace, the way I wanted. Deputy, if this slate should come your way, please know you have my eternal gratitude. When your days are done, I'll buy you a drink in that big saloon in the sky. There's got to be one, right? Guess I'll know soon enough."
Hmm.
That
She
that
might not be buying me a drink.
who knows? Maybe she would appreciate it if you were
Right.
to see
And
her
that was
like,
kind of in the headcanon thing was kind of, it really was because I didn't want her to lay there dying. I mean,
yeah,
someone that's got a horrible disease that they're terminal, and they've got 3 months to live of this agonizing, painful day after day, no way out, just drudgery. And that was like, okay, well, once she lays down and falls asleep, I'm going to take care of this for her,
yeah,
and she won't ever have to be in
and
pain anymore.
obviously
That's
no
kind of the way.
family or friends because she,
Right.
they weren't there and she didn't go to them. So it's like, yeah, you can see a situation where her condition results in her being in pain or physically immobile, and then like feeling pain of starving and all that. So
Right. At some point, then
you
she, like
you
you
did
said,
a
she becomes.
good thing, Jax.
That's the way I like to think about it.
And
So
yep,
yeah, I found somewhere along the way, I found a Rangers baseball cap, Freestar Ranger baseball cap,
okay,
and it's like the Deimos because
yeah,
there's like the short cap with the short bill and kind of the square military style
yeah, yeah,
cap, right? But the ones I like are the baseball style with the domed top
yeah.
and the regular size bill. And I found a Rangers one at some point, and I went ahead and took that back to my bench,
Mhm.
made it into a Mark II, and then graded it to a relic and put all the different. I always put like on my gear,
Yeah.
my outfits and whatnot. I put acrobat because
Okay.
I hate fall damage.
Yeah.
It just it's one of those things where it's like, oh, I broke my leg again. So
Yeah.
I've
And
got,
then
the hat's got acrobat, the shirt, the outfit's got acrobat, my little technical thing that's stuck on my head has got acrobat. So I'm like 75%. I don't take fall damage anymore. But yeah, so I thought that was kind of cool. And then there's an outfit that's just kind of it's like pants and like a tight shirt. And then
Yeah.
I've got the Ranger necklace on. So it shows I've got the Ranger hat and I got the Ranger badge around my neck. So I kind of look like some kind of detective dude running around.
Well,
So
I
that's kind
have
of
that hat
fun.
as well, so I wonder if that hat was a reward, because I don't think you get it the same moment you get your green deputy uniform.
Yeah, I don't
But
like that.
it might have been a
uniform.
hat that you get like a mission or two later, and without any pomp and circumstance, they just give it to you. Because I have it too.
Yeah, I collect all of those. I've got the Deimos, I've got Chunks, I've got Freestar hat now. I've got a Tayo, I got a Ryujin hat. So they're all caps. That's
Yep.
the only ones I collect are the baseball caps.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Well,
then I go
there's
through
the
and
space trucker. Oh no, it's called a head wrap though.
yeah, I
Space
don't
trucker.
use that one.
Yeah, my cyber runner. She likes to put it on because it's the closest thing to some kind of a
Does
head
it look like a do-rag?
piece. No, well, I guess you could say it almost looks like a do rag, but with her,
Like a
in her
bandana tied
case,
back behind your
yeah. But in her case, it's because with her being the whole stealthy thing, she needs her hair out of her face, so her hairdo is always pulled back into a ponytail. But sometimes, like when we're really into the role play, I'll get geared up to go on a mission. I'll put the head wrap on, so that's keeping her hair, up and out of the way, and she's got to
yeah.
do a lot of slicing and dicing. But you had mentioned something about you had contraband.
So yeah. So I found some contraband somewhere and forgot about it. So I got that in my pocket. And the next thing we're supposed to do is we got to just fly back to Aquila, back to our home base where we're a Freestar Ranger law enforcement, and we're going to go back to Freestar headquarters, right?
Yep.
Just fly on in. I mean, we're the law. It should be fine.
Yeah.
And of course, I get stopped on the way in and I get arrested going to my police station.
Well, see, I I haven't gotten arrested because I was able to jump out before that happened. I
I
just
could have, or I could have like stopped and put it on board the ship, took it out of my personal inventory, put it in the ship inventory, and then run the
jettison it real
scenario
quick.
again and see if it doesn't,
Or,
if I can get through it.
oh yeah,
I don't think I've got, I don't think this ship, I don't think I've
got a
put,
jammer.
I don't think I got the jammer on this ship. That's one of the things I don't think I put on there. So it was 0%. Either I got busted. And I was like,
Yeah.
I'll just go quietly.
Well,
And I thought you ended up in the rock, but you don't. There's a it's a different place. I think it's called the prison, the Aquila prison.
okay.
So you end up back at a different place, not even in the rock. And I always end up there. And then all of my stolen stuff is in a box and all of my contraband is in a box. So at that point, I stand up and I look around.
Just
Nobody's
take it
looking.
back.
I duck down and I take all my stuff back. And now I know what I got to go sell to Finn.
Well, it would be cool if when you're in Freestar territory and you have already started the quest and maybe you're to the point where you've been given your badge, that if you have contraband and you get scanned, or maybe it just skips it, or if they
Right.
detect it, you a dialogue option. I'm a deputy. This is
Evidence.
evidence. It would be cool if
Exactly.
you have that as a Freestar deputy in Freestar space, and if you're doing the Crimson Fleet quest, where you're still in the middle of the quest, or at least chose to be pro Sistef, that if you're in UC territory, same thing.
Right.
You know?
And I'm
Because
bringing back evidence.
Yeah, and because
That would
now,
make sense to me that there's a fourth option instead of just getting busted. It says, "Hey,
yeah,
I'm a Freestar Ranger. I'm bringing evidence back to the shop."
yeah, and to a certain extent, like I tried avoiding dealing with contraband items, stolen artwork, and
Me too.
harvested organs and stuff. But I'm like, you know what? If I'm law enforcement, it stands to reason that I should be able to turn this stuff in. So now I do go to the den to sell it,
Mhm.
on my space trucker, and I literally just headcanon that yes, I'm turning this over and getting a payout for submitting it in, which would be cool if they actually had that as an option too. That once you join the
Yeah.
Sista or the Freestar Rangers, there's a special merchant that you can sell contraband to for say half what you would get at the like at an actual trade authority vendor, right? You can at least get some money out of it. It's kind of like how Vlad
Right.
does double the credits for scanning. But think of it
Mhm.
like that, but the opposite, where you get half. But at least it's something to justify that.
Right.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So then at this point, you head up to End of the Rock, and let me show you this picture again real quick. This was a beautiful shot. I landed, and it's the planet in the background over the rock building.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a beautiful shot. That's what greeted me when I came back to finish this quest. And I think I had another one not long ago that was very similar. I don't know. Anyways, yeah. So you go
Thought I-
upstairs and talk to the Alex, I think is his name. And he's the hacker guy. And you give the slate to him. And so presumably now at this point you give the slate to him. You go do the other mission where you go to the Red Mile, and then you probably come back to him, and he's hacked the slate by then, right? That's what I'm assuming how it's going to
I've
go.
not. Yeah. I've not gone back to look at the slates yet.
Yeah.
So
So I don't know.
actually, when I started the Lost Colony Vista quest, that's the mod that I was doing. I did have to go back to Aquila, and I had to go find the consulate office, and I was mistaken. I thought I was trying to go back to the Rock, and so I'm looking through the entire Rock looking for this wanted poster. I was in the wrong place, but at that point, I did run across this guy again, and since I hadn't started the next quest, he wasn't telling me nothing. So he did not have anything solved on those slates yet. He didn't have them decrypted. That's what I'm
Gotcha.
saying.
Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's not
So
going. You can't get anything out of him until you go a little further in the quest line.
yeah. So you probably do the other quest, which means makes me wonder if there's a slate you get on the other one. Because remember how you can do these in either order,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's the final mission. So yep. Well, I hate to cut it short, but I really have to get going now. But yeah, we pretty much wrapped up that quest and got into some good mod talk like usual, and good
So
good
next week
times.
we will go hunt down the other dude.
Yeah, what's the other?
Strike Force, strike some. Mm,
The yeah, surgical strike was the name of the quest we just did, and so the next push faction quests is on the run, or no, first to fight, first to die.
no,
No,
on the run.
on the run. Okay, so
Yeah.
on the run. Oh, and then there's two more missions after that. Okay, so
Yeah, we got to
yeah.
go on the run next.
So on the run, that'll be what we do. Where is it?
We'll do
And
that
so
during
that
this week.
you go to the Red Mile for that, right? Yep. Yeah, you have to talk to May, who runs the Red Mile, and and then Autumn. Yep. There's a deputy there you talk to. Okay, yeah. So we'll get into that next week. All right, folks. Well,
Yeah.
as always, thank you for tuning in to Starfield Report podcast. If you have any feedback, you can always send it in to starfieldreport@gmail.com, and specifically your ship build videos. If you want to send in any pictures of those, we will gladly show them here on the show. We love talking ships. It's our
Yep.
everything I do in this game ultimately comes down to building a ship. So my characters, I role play them, but it's all about making the cool ship for them. All right, so we'll get into on the run next week. All right, Jack. So any last words?
think I'll spend some time repainting the Avant-Garde this week to bring it more in line with the other two ships.
Okay.
But other than that, I'll drive fast and I'll go and take lots of chances.
All right, and I'm gonna drive slow and play it safe. All right, folks. We will see you in the Starfield.
Then let me be the first to officially welcome you to the United Colonies Vanguard.